Hello friends, so excited that you are here. This is Becky Carlson, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this super cute, super easy Christmas box. I'll have some variations of this at the end, so make sure you watch the whole thing. Okay, so to start off making this box, I'm going to use some 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. This is from the mini catalog. It's that fun paper that I've used for just about everything. So I'm going to start by cutting off part of it. I'm going to cut off 3 inches off of one side, and then we're going to use the rest of this paper. So you'll start off moving the cutting blade out of the way so you don't accidentally slice it. Put your paper in, you're going to cut it on that long side at 2 inches, not cut it, you're going to score it at 2 inches. And remember, don't score it super hard because it'll tear through this paper. It's pretty thick, but not thick enough that you can go crazy. Then go ahead and turn it to the shorter side, score it at 1/2 inch. Then you're going to go back to the other side and score it at 2 inches from the end. Okay, once you've got it scored on those 3 sides, so you've got the long side is 2 inches, one short side is 2 inches, the other side is 1/2 inch. Then you are ready to assemble. Alright, so go ahead and take that little 1/2 inch and fold it in towards the inside of your box. You're going to take the double-sided tearaway tape and put it right on that little flap that you've made. Tear it off at the end or cut it. I cut mine just because I wanted it to line up just perfectly. It tears away just fine. Then you want to burnish it in so that you can get a grip on it to pull it off. So grab that, pull it off, then you've got this little sticky strip along the edge. So you're just going to fold the other edge of your paper over onto that and then smooth it down with your bone folder. Just like that. So you just smooth it flat. Then you're going to fold it the other way on that little 2 inch that you made, 2 inch score, and that'll make your box. Then open your box up, and that 2 inches from the bottom fold you made, you're going to just cut up to that. This is the bottom flaps of your box. You could do this on the top and the bottom and have a box itself that closes. I'm just going to do the bottom. It's like a bag. So you just cut up to that 2 inch score mark that you made, and then you just fold them in. Fold them in all the way around. You're going to have some stability down here because there's so many layers. I'm going to use the tearaway tape again because I like how sticky it is and it's not going to come off your box. So I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to put your flaps in. I kind of like to have the 2 little ones inside. Then I have just a double layer of those big side flaps. I'm going to use 2 strips on here just because I do want it to be strong. I'm not going to put bowling balls in here, of course, but you know, I might want to put some caramel corn or Hershey Kisses or a little notepad and pen, something like that. So again, you get those burnished on there, and then you peel away that tape. Take your pick tool is really handy for picking this up. My nails are a little bit thick, but if you burnish it and then peel it, it should come right off. Then just square it up and stick that down, and you've got your little bag box. You can put your hand inside there to push down the bottom and make sure it stays. Isn't that so cute? Then you just pinch in the sides. Again, I'm not super picky on this. Just kind of push them in. And there's different ways that you could do the top. I'll show you a couple different ways. The one that I usually do is I'll just get my little 1 inch circle punch, put that on there, and punch a hole through all the layers. It gives it a little handle. So this is easy. So of course, if you put the hole up so you can see where you're punching, circle dies would also work for this. Whatever you've got, just punch that through there. You can go down further if you want. I like mine up at the top, then I can tie a little ribbon through it and make it all festive-like. Okay, now that I have my hole punched, I'm going to get some ribbon to tie through there. I love this polka dot ribbon. It's just the end of a roll. It's the last bit that I have. I don't even remember when this came out, but I'm going to match it up with some real red cardstock that also goes with the Designer Series paper, and I will use one of my circle dies to cut that out. You could just stick it on there, but I like to have more of the contrast. So I've got my little mini die cut machine that I'm going to cut out one of the circles from the circle die cut set. So I cut it down, and I'm going to feed it through my machine here. I can pick the one that fits best just by laying that tree over it. So easy to use. So I need to stick that on there, make sure that's the size that I want. I think it looks good. And then I will just sandwich up my dies and feed it through. And then we'll have this cute little red circle to go behind it. And this one, I cut the paper so it's just wide enough to fit through there and still fit the circle. Most of these, all of these circle dies will fit on the mini cutter, so that's super cool. So I'm going to take this and put some stuff out of the way, and then we will assemble. So I got my little Christmas tree die cut. You could use anything on here. You could just stamp words on there, add a jingle bell, whatever makes you happy. For this one, since it is going to be on a box that will have something in it, or a box sack, I guess, I'm going to go ahead and use the tearaway tape again and get this really stuck on there. Put about 3 strips on here, and so that it doesn't pop off the front of this box. This time, so that I don't struggle so much, I am going to pull out my pick tool. It's super easy, so if you have nails like me that are extraordinarily thick, then you can use this little pick tool and it acts like your skinny nails. I like having my nails done, so I use the tools. So you just stick this on the front of there. I just kind of centered it, stuck it on there. This tape grabs pretty quickly, so it holds it, but you can also put your hand down inside and push out. Now for the tree, I want to give it a little more dimension, so I'm going to use some dimensionals. Dimension for dimensionals. So I'm going to pop some of these on there so that it'll stick up a little bit. Give it a little more presence, I guess. So peel these guys off, and no, I'm not just throwing these on the floor. I do have a trash can back here. Okay, maybe I don't, but they vacuum up real easy. So I'll just stick that guy on there. I love the little shimmer that it has. And then I will take my U-pick tool again and just add some more rhinestones on there to make it really pop. I'm going to put something fun in this and take it down to my neighbor, I think. She needs a little pick-me-up now and then. I may not even wait till Christmas, because who says I have to? Anyway, I put some of these gems on there, and then we get to put the ribbon on to tie it all together, literally. So I just feed my ribbon through there. And of course, if I was giving this away right now, I would put my treats in there first, and then I would tie it. But I'll do a soft bow, a loose bow. If you're challenged at bow making, it's not as hard as it might seem. Just think of it as a square knot. Go right over left, left over right. Just keep your little pieces in order. Then you can mush it around. And then look, I want that other side to show with the polka dot. So you just go back in there after you've gotten a little bit tight. Just twist it around, and it should stay the way you want it, so that the polka dots are facing front. I'm going to do all this work, and then I'm going to undo it to put the treat in. But this way you get the general idea. Use my scissors to snip it off, and there you go. Look at that cute little bag. I thought it was super cute, and it was really easy, really. So now I'm going to show you some of the other ones that I made, some other versions of this. Okay, so here's the finished box. Looks pretty cute. The camera was working when I took this, so this one looks really nice. This next one is a happy birthday bag. I used some old designer paper from, I don't know when, but it's cute. But you're just looking for the ideas here. This next one that I did was a Halloween bag. Again, using some old Halloween paper and a Halloween set that I just love. It's called Boo to You. It's really old, still wood mounted. But I just love the googly little eyes on these guys. And then I have another Christmas one using our old poinsettia paper, which is also super pretty and fluffy. Any paper would do. I'm just showing you lots of samples, so you could just do it with any paper. Okay, but I thought I would show you a mini box that my daughter actually fell in love with, so that's this next one I'm going to show you. Okay, for this one I'm going to use some of the rainbow paper from way back, mostly because I just have lots of it, and also because I wanted to show you you can make a tiny little box doing the same thing. Now for this one, I'm going to make the bottom a little bit smaller. So what you want to think of is the bottom width should be as wide as your one side width. Okay, I still kept the 1/2 inch for the glue part, but these ones I made at about 1.5 inches, I believe, on the bottom and the side. So you still have your 1/2 inch. gluing side, but then your bottom and your side are at 1.5 inches. So it's a little bit narrower just because it's a narrower bag, it's smaller. You do the same basic thing. And I didn't cut this one down, so it's still a 6 by 6 piece. So you've got your 1/2 inch, your 1.5 inch, and your 1.5 inch. Okay, so your 3 folds. See them right here. There's your bottom, your side, and that's just your glue side. And you can see that it tore a little bit. Doesn't matter. We're going to put the glue there, so I'm going to roll with it. So we do it basically the same way. You're going to get your tearaway tape, put it on there all the way down, and then tear it off. You'll burnish it down so that you can pull it off with your little pick-me tool. And then here's the magic. You just take it, fold it over. You could do it the other way, but I just kept doing it on top. Okay, they're just going to stick it on there. This one, the rainbows are lining up quite nicely on here. It's kind of tricky. It's easier if you go under. I'll show you that next, but this kind of keeps the outside of your bag looking nice and neat. So you're just going to sandwich it down, press it in, and then just take your bone folder and just smooth it down, just like that. And then you'll pop it open, take it the other way, and smooth it down the other way. And now you've got all 4 of your folds. So easy. So then you do the same thing. You take your scissors and you're going to cut up to that score line. This one I think I cut it a little long, so you can trim them down, because I forgot about the sides only being, they're going to be a little bit smaller. So it doesn't matter too much. You just smash it down, cut it off. I didn't even measure. I just kind of eyeballed it here. They were just a little bit too long. So you just slice them off, no big deal. And then you've got your 4 flaps still. So these ones don't exactly meet, but it's still going to hold it together. I mean, how much weight are you going to put in this little box? So again, you take your tearaway tape, stick it on there to hold your bottom together. Okay, so go ahead and stick it on there, burnish it, and you'll peel it off again. This time I went ahead and put one on either side so that it would hold it down, since they weren't quite as long as the other ones had been. So we'll just peel this off, stick one side down, and then stick the other side down on top of it, and it should give it enough stability to hold some 5 Hershey Kisses or whatever you want to put in there. So peel that side up, stick it down, and then this one I wanted to do a little bit different. It's so small that if I were to put a hole in it, it would be real small. So I'm going to burnish it down real good, and then I'm just going to fold it over like a little lunch sack. And like I said, my daughter fell in love with this. She wants to have this now. So I just burnish it down, and then I wanted to just kind of jazz up the front. It's cute like it is, but I'm going to jazz it up, of course. Okay, so I've got some glitter paper and some more of that rainbow paper. Got my cloud punch out because I feel like we need glitter on our clouds with the rainbow, of course. So then I'm going to take my trimmer and just trim this paper down so I've got just a little rainbow strip using the colors that are already printed on there. Probably have to do it a little bit narrower than a full rainbow, but it'll still look nice because it's so bright. I love how bright these colors are. So I'm just going to trim it down, trim off that extra green that I don't need, and then that will be enough to put on the front. So I'm just going to cut it down, and then for this one I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my Tombow for this one just so I can get a really good coverage and smush it down without actually smushing the box. So I've got my Tombow out. I'm going to smear some on the back of this little guy here to adhere it to the front of my little box bag. And then again with the thick nails. So there we go. We'll put this on there. You could tip it right under there so it's not sealed shut, or you could put it so you actually seal it shut. But since I don't have anything in mine yet, I'm not going to seal it shut. Stick it on there. Then I've got my little glitter cloud. So I'll use some dimensionals to pop that guy up. Are you loving this already? I love the rainbows with the glitter. It just makes me happy. Of course, I live in Arizona, so I get overly excited about clouds and rainbows because that means we got rain. So you could leave it like this, totally, but I'm going to add just a little bit more to it. Okay, so I have our artistically inked stamp set here because I just love this little hello. It just goes with just about everything. So I'm going to go ahead and just take that out. I'm going to mount it on one of our small clear blocks. And then I'll ink it up with the tuxedo ink down towards the bottom. You could fussy cut this, you could cut it with your trimmer. I'm going to use a punch to punch this out. So I actually have this old ticket punch. I don't know how old that is. I keep everything. Well, not everything, but I kept this because I love punches. So I'm just going to punch this out. You could use a little oval. You could just hand cut it, whatever you've got. I'm just going to punch this guy out. And then I will use something to glue this on here. So for this one, I'm going to use some Tombow because the glitter paper is so rough. So I'll just stick this right on here. How cute is that? And then of course I need just one more little thing to make this just done. Okay, so I went ahead and got some silver cording, tied a little bow on here with it, and then I'm going to trim it down and stick it right up over there. This is the stretchy cord from days of yore, so it's kind of hard to handle, but I had it on hand, so I tied a little bow with it. And then I'm going to stick it on with our glue dots. Now here's my super technique for glue dot usage. You take it off with your finger, and when you got something small like this, you kind of roll it in your fingers. We call it a glue booger. I know that's disgusting. But you stick it on there, and then it's just tiny, even tinier than it started. And then you can take your little knot and stick it right over that, and then it doesn't stick out at all on the adhesive. There you go. Then I'm going to kind of fuss with this a little bit because I got twisted around there. So I'll pull it out with my Picket tool. There we go. And I can just trim down my little legs on my bow. Legs, arms, not sure. Wings? Not sure what the technical name for that is, but here's my little box. Isn't that so cute? And that's just with a 6x6 paper. So this kind of works with any size. I taught this class at church, and we even made big ones. And you can make them almost paper bag size using that same formula. Just a 1/2 inch, decide how wide you want it, fold it down, press it to the other side, and there you go. So I would love to see what you guys make.